The Quantum Conundrum. In a world where quantum mechanics governed everything, the laws of physics danced to the tune of probabilities. Nothing was certain, and reality itself was a tapestry woven from possibilities. Dr. Lila Hart, a brilliant physicist, spent her days at the Quantum Research Institute. Her mind constantly buzzed with questions about the universe and the nature of reality. One rainy afternoon, Lila made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. She found a way to observe and manipulate quantum particles like never before. Her breakthrough involved a device she called the Quantum Harmonizer. This machine could stabilize quantum states, allowing her to study them without collapsing their probabilities. The harmonizer was a sleek, silver cylinder adorned with glowing blue lights. When activated, it emitted a soft hum that seemed to resonate with the fabric of reality itself. Lila's first experiments were promising. She observed particles behaving in ways that defied classical physics, existing in multiple states at once, and even teleporting short distances. Excited by her findings, Lila decided to push the boundaries further. She wanted to see if she could manipulate quantum states on a macroscopic scale, affecting objects in the real world. With her trusty assistant, Max, a young genius with a knack for problem-solving, Lila began a series of daring experiments. They started with small objects, like marbles and paperclips. One day, they managed to make a marble vanish from one side of the lab and reappear on the other. Max's eyes widened with amazement as the implications of their work dawned on him. "Lila, this could change everything," Max said, his voice trembling with excitement. "We could revolutionize transportation, communication, even the very nature of existence." As their experiments grew bolder, they attracted the attention of Dr. Nathaniel Kane, the head of the institute. Kane was a seasoned physicist with a reputation for caution. Kane watched their progress with a mix of admiration and concern. He knew the potential of their work, but he also understood the risks involved in tampering with quantum states. "Lila, Max," Kane said one evening, "your work is groundbreaking, but you must tread carefully. The quantum realm is unpredictable. One misstep could have catastrophic consequences." Undeterred, Lila continued her research. She believed that understanding the quantum realm was the key to unlocking the deepest mysteries of the universe. Late one night, Lila decided to test the harmonizer on a larger object, a small metal cube. She and Max carefully placed it in the center of the device and activated it. The cube began to shimmer, its edges blurring as it entered a state of quantum superposition. For a moment, it seemed to exist in multiple places at once. But then, something went wrong. The harmonizer emitted a high-pitched whine, and the cube flickered violently before disappearing altogether. A rift appeared in the air where it had been. Lila and Max stared in horror as the rift widened, crackling with energy. It seemed to tear at the fabric of spacetime, distorting reality around it. "Turn it off," Max shouted, but the harmonizer wouldn't respond. The rift continued to grow, its edges pulsing with an eerie, otherworldly light. Desperate, Lila grabbed a nearby wrench and smashed the harmonizer's control panel. The machine sputtered and died, but the rift remained, hovering ominously in the lab. As they watched, strange anomalies began to emerge from the rift. Objects floated, walls rippled like water, and gravity itself seemed to waver. Lila realized that their experiments had unleashed a wave of quantum anomalies. The rift was a tear in the fabric of spacetime, and it was growing larger by the second. "We have to contain it," Lila said, her voice filled with determination. "If we don't, the entire universe could be at risk." Max nodded, his face pale but resolute. "How do we do that? The harmonizer is destroyed, and we don't have another way to control the quantum states." Lila thought quickly. "We need to stabilize the rift somehow. If we can find a way to reverse the polarity of the quantum field, We might be able to close it. They scoured the lab for anything that could help. Max found an old prototype of the harmonizer, and Lila began modifying it, hoping it could reverse the effects of the original device. As they worked, the anomalies grew more intense. Time itself seemed to warp, moments stretching and compressing in bizarre ways. Lila's sense of urgency deepened. Finally, they were ready. Lila and Max positioned the modified harmonizer near the rift and activated it. The device hummed to life, emitting a low, steady pulse. At first, nothing happened. The rift continued to crackle and hiss, its edges glowing menacingly. But then, slowly, it began to shrink, the anomalies around it stabilizing. Lila and Max watched in tense silence as the rift contracted, its energy dissipating. It was working, but the process was agonizingly slow. Just when it seemed like the rift would close completely, it flared up again, sending a shockwave through the lab. Lila and Max were thrown to the ground. Dazed but determined, Lila crawled back to the harmonizer. She realized that the device needed more power to fully seal the rift. Max, we need to boost the output. Max scrambled to his feet and began rerouting power from the lab's main generator to the harmonizer. Sparks flew as he connected the cables, the device surging with energy. The harmonizer glowed brighter, its pulse growing stronger. The rift began to shrink again, this time more rapidly. Lila and Max held their breath, praying it would work. As the rift closed, the anomalies around them started to fade. Objects returned to their proper places, and the fabric of reality seemed to stabilize. Finally, with a final, blinding flash, the rift snapped shut. The lab was plunged into silence, the only sound the soft hum of the harmonizer as it powered down. Lila and Max let out a collective sigh of relief. They had done it. The rift was closed, and the quantum anomalies were contained. But their ordeal was far from over. Dr. Kane burst into the lab, his face a mask of concern. "What happened here?" he demanded. "The entire institute felt the shockwaves from your experiment." Lila explained everything, from the initial discovery to the rift and their desperate efforts to close it. Kane listened, his expression growing grimmer with each word. "You were incredibly fortunate," Kane said finally. "The consequences could have been far worse. You must be more careful in the future. The quantum realm is not to be trifled with." Lila nodded, chastened but still determined. "I understand. But this discovery is too important to abandon. We need to learn more, to understand the quantum realm better." Kane sighed. "Very well. But from now on, you will work under strict supervision. No more unauthorized experiments. We can't afford another incident like this." Lila agreed, knowing he was right. The quantum realm held unimaginable potential, but it also posed tremendous risks. They had to proceed with caution. In the days that followed, Lila and Max worked tirelessly to repair the lab and refine their equipment. They developed new protocols to ensure their experiments were safe. They also began to study the data they had collected from the Rift incident. What they found was both fascinating and troubling. The quantum anomalies were more complex than they had realized. Lila theorized that the Rift had temporarily connected their world to another dimension, a parallel universe governed by different laws of physics. The implications were staggering. Max was particularly intrigued by the idea of parallel universes. "If we could find a way to safely explore these other dimensions, think of what we could learn." Lila agreed, but she knew they had to be cautious. "We need to fully understand the risks before we attempt anything like that. The fabric of our reality is delicate." As they continued their research, Lila and Max discovered new ways to manipulate quantum states. They developed techniques to stabilize particles and prevent anomalies. Their work began to attract attention from around the world. Scientists and researchers flocked to the Quantum Research Institute, eager to collaborate and learn from their findings. Despite the progress, Lila never forgot the lessons of the Rift incident. She knew that the quantum realm held many secrets, some of which could be dangerous if mishandled. One evening, as Lila and Max were reviewing their latest results, Max asked, "Do you ever wonder about the nature of existence itself? What it really means to be real?" Lila smiled. "All the time. Quantum mechanics has shown us that reality is far more complex and mysterious than we ever imagined. It's humbling, and also inspiring." Max nodded thoughtfully. "It's like we're peering into the very fabric of the universe, trying to unravel its deepest mysteries. Who knows what we'll discover next?" Lila looked at the Harmonizer, now a symbol of both their triumphs and their challenges. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. The quantum realm is vast, but so is our curiosity." As they continued their work, Lila and Max knew that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. Their journey into the quantum realm had only just begun. They were driven by a sense of wonder and a desire to understand the universe in all its complexity. Every discovery brought new questions, new challenges, and new adventures. In a world where quantum mechanics governed all aspects of existence, Lila and Max stood at the forefront of exploration, ready to unravel the mysteries of reality. And so, with determination and curiosity as their guides, they ventured deeper into the quantum realm, knowing that each step brought them closer to the ultimate truth.